Okay. ECE 113, Creative Art, Movement, and Expression. I hope you guys have enjoyed the class. Again, we are in week 4. We're getting things finished up. I know you guys are getting things turned in, working on your final project. Hi, Lita. Hey, Lita, I wanted to tell you that your slide looks great. The example that you emailed me, it looks really good. So you're definitely on the right path there. Just keep doing that with different activities and you'll be hooked up. Good job. Awesome. And guys, if you're ever unsure on final projects before you submit them, you're welcome to send them via email and have me check them out first. I have no problem doing that, okay? I'd love to help out. In an on-ground environment, you could bring the assignment to me and show it to me first, and I want you to be able to do that online as well, okay? So please do. Please do. Let's look at our announcements real quick for our final week of our course. Of course, all assignments are due Sunday, June 12th by midnight, and it's very important. I know, Lita, this is your last class. I was thinking the same thing too. Lita's going to start her externship soon, June 20th. So this is her last EC class. We're going to miss you in class, but we're still going to see you on Facebook, right? You got to stay up with us, okay? So be sure, guys, this Sunday that everything is turned in. I've had a few people. I know that things come up. Sometimes emergencies come up. But I've had quite a few people submitting assignments late on Monday and Tuesday after the classes ended. Oh, please do, Lita. Yes, you know where I'm at. So please do get those in by Sunday at midnight. I think I had somebody submitting some things last Wednesday, and Wednesday is way too late. Grades have already been submitted by Wednesday morning. So we have to have that time to go through the grade books, to verify points. You know, if you've got something that you've turned in that no points are coming up for on Monday or Tuesday, please contact me, especially if it's something that's been turned in by email. I know it seems like email will be an easy way to track it, but sometimes email addresses are different than your name, or maybe your submission is within another email, so it sort of gets hidden. So when you're sending assignments through the email, maybe I've asked for it, or maybe, for instance, on our art activity where the pictures wouldn't load to My Course Connection, just be sure you send an email with the name of the class and the name of the assignment and your name, so that it's really easy for me to get you the correct points. I have several classes going on at one time, so it's really a good idea, you know, be sure and put ECE 113 for this class so that I know where the proper points go, okay? So back to the point, Sunday by midnight, get everything turned in. Our next course is going to be ECE 115, which is sort of the last class before we start over again with ECE 101. So this is the last sort of section before we loop around again. Family, community, and early education is ECE 115. It's a fun class. We talk about how to connect with the community and with your families, and these are both very important topics. So great class to begin, and it starts Monday, June 13th. So Sunday, get all your assignments in, and Monday, for those of you returning, be ready to go again, okay? Oh, okay, gotcha, Desiree. Okay, be sure, yeah, send me another email so I know what's going on. And Opal, have you got points on your art activity yet? If you send it through the email, maybe I haven't graded it yet, but I'll check that, okay? I absolutely loved seeing the pictures of the art projects. I kind of wish we could share those because some of you guys did the art projects with nieces and nephews and children. You did more early childhood type stuff, whereas some of you did more adult projects or something for your home that you've been wanting to get done or wanting to do. And I thought they were really neat to see your finished project. So I hope you enjoyed that assignment. It kind of forces you into being creative and stopping and doing something that's a little different from a regular assignment. So I think they're a lot of fun. Good, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Lita. Good deal. So on to our final project for this class. I'm going to go over the basics real quick and then see if you guys have any questions burning in your mind as far as the final project goes, because I want you to be absolutely clear on this assignment. I want you to understand it and be able to turn in a good project because this is worth a lot of points. So for our final project, of course, we're doing our activity cards. You're going to have 25 activity cards altogether. And if you will follow this order that's outlined in number 3, let me get my sunshine out here. In number 3, if you will follow this outline, it's the easiest way to stay in order, to stay on task so that you know you've covered each category. You're going to have 10 outdoor cards, 3 for infants, 4 for preschool, 3 for primary, which is school age. You're going to have 15 indoor cards, 4 for infants and toddlers, 7 for preschool, 4 for primary. Now, you're welcome to do extra, guys. That's fine, but this is the minimum that you need. And so you're going to have, between these two, between outdoor and indoor, that's a total of 25 cards. Then on C, remember, you want to throw in these other things as well. You want to have activities that cover creative movement, sensory play, drama, literature, books, art, and music. So within those 25 cards, you're going to have activities that follow and cover these topics as well. So does that make sense, guys? Is that clear as mud? I think that's a term my grandpa used to use. Do you guys feel like you're good to go on that? I'm going to show you one more example. Oh, you're not able to open your template. You know what, Teresa? I think I've had a couple people run into that because the template is in Word, right? I tell you what I will do. I'll try to pull it up after a live lecture and convert that into a Google Docs, okay? So it will be easier to open up. Okay, okay, guys. Gotcha. Yeah, I can pull that up. So I'll do that as soon as live lecture is over. Yeah, it's very important. It's just easier to do. You don't have to create it from scratch that way. Okay, here's our example. I believe this is the same example from last week, just a refresher. Animal tag, card number 5. Remember, you're going to number your cards in the upper left corner. Upper right corner, you're going to put if it's indoor, outdoor, and what age group it's for. You're going to have at least 2 objectives. I think that was my minimum on the objectives for your activity. You're going to list all the materials that you would need. Also, the length of time it's going to take, approximate. I know this varies. If you used a source, maybe a web source, be sure to provide the link. And if you used a book, please tell me the book, author, publisher, that such. On the source, this one that's on here, playworks.org, is a great resource for ECE activities, so you might want to make note of that. Okay, so you've got the name, outdoor or primary, the number, the objectives, the materials needed, the length of time, the source, then an overview. How are you going to do the activity? Kind of break it down step by step into however many sentences you need. And then lastly, the assessment. If you've done the activity or someone you know has done the activity, an assessment is how well it went, if there's things that need to be changed for next time, or if the children enjoy it. Okay? So this activity card right here would receive an A because it's got all the required elements. Okay, so that's what I want to see from you 25 times, right? There we go. Okay, student question of the week. I was going to add one, but I didn't get one this week. It's another one of those weeks where nothing really came up. So I guess I'll leave it open for right now. Does anyone have any questions? Something that you've needed answered that maybe someone else in the class might have been thinking of too. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to do that at this time, maybe about the final project or about the class coming up. Just in general. Hi, Jasmine. Anything that you can think of, guys? If you have done it or a friend has done it, do you need a source? No, yeah, actually, if this is an activity that you've come up with, there's no need to have a source. Now, if a friend came up with the activity, you might list his or her name, because that would be your source, right? That'd be great. That's a good question. Because, you know, these activities don't have to be off websites or from early childhood centers. This may be something that you've come up with on your own. Yep, good question, Lita. Fantastic, guys. So this is kind of a fun final lecture, guys. I got to tell you, we've got lots of pictures that are going to be coming up because we're talking about how to teach children's art. You don't have to be an art major to teach children's art. You can be just a normal person like me. Why is it important? First of all, it's a very big social and emotional attachment when you do art. It's very therapeutic. Do any of you guys have an adult coloring book at home? Has anyone tried that yet? No? Nobody has a coloring book. Oh no. Here's the thing, guys. There's several free coloring pages on Pinterest. The adult coloring pages have a lot more detail to them, so they're free, and you can just print them out and then color them with your colored pencils. I had never done this until a few months back. I had a friend that was really stressed out, and I bought one for me and one for her, and I bought us each a new box of crayons, not crayons, but colored pencils. And we sat and we colored and we snacked for hours, and it really was amazing. Here's the thing that I noticed the most, and so did she. Whenever you're coloring, you're not thinking about other things. You're thinking about what part of the picture you're going to color next, or what color you're going to use next. It's a very good way to focus and de-stress. So it's not just, hey, this will be a fun thing to do. It is a very relaxing thing to do. So we have to keep that in mind with our children as well, that art can be very therapeutic for them. In fact, of course, there are art therapists that's what they do. It allows them to have choices to express themselves, their interests, their perceptions of the world, the style that they are interested in. It gives them a sense of pride and accomplishment. And what if they ask you to do it for them? You know, usually you want to push them into doing it themselves, encourage them, ask them questions about their art, because you can be a lot more encouraging to them than you would think, even when they're creating. Oh, you did? They do. They do, Lita. They have lots of coloring pages. That's right. They have for children, but also for adults. Now, I know we talk about the idea of coloring pages being hampering the creativity, which they are, because we have to stay within the lines and stuff as far as a kid goes. Yeah, from time to time, they're just fine. Intellectual development with art. You've got awareness, appreciation for the beauty in the world. Art is a record of growth and a child's unique way of relating to the world. I've seen grade school teachers that have saved samples of art through the year, starting from the beginning and going all the way to May. And at the end, those art samples are given to the parent so that that parent can see how much their art has changed over the year. And it's a really great thing to be able to keep. Some teachers laminate these as well so that they'll last a long time. Oh, good, Lita, exactly. So you redirected him into going, no, you need to do this yourself. You know, it'll be fun. Good deal. Sensory experiences help intellectual development, feeling different, textures, different shapes. Art helps organize and understand the world as far as color, line, shape, form, texture, and size. There's a lot of terms we can talk about while creating art in the classroom. And also definitely physical development as far as the fine motor skills go. Paintbrushes, crayons, scissors. If any of you have children, you may have noticed that by the end of the day or the end of the week sometimes, they might say their hands are hurting. Well, it's because they've been working those fine muscles that they're not used to working on a continual basis, especially after maybe taking summer off. I had to do some paperwork the other day. It was several pages long, and I had to write it out. And I noticed by page 3 or 4, my hand was hurting too, because I'm not used to writing. We type everything up. We send emails. We type it on the computer and print it out instead of using our hands as much as we used to. So I could use with a little physical development and fine motor skills area. Okay, stages of art. Now we're into our pictures. You guys might recognize some of this if you have kiddos. Scribbling is one of our first stages. Eyes and hands must work together. Great exercise. Begins at about 18 months, but I've seen children younger than that do some scribbles. Usually zigzags, back and forth movements, which are wonderful. And by 3, they use shapes in scribbling as well. So you might start to see some form coming up there so that you can actually sort of tell what something is. Pre-schematic are basic forms, circles, ovals, lines, rectangles, and squares, which they're learning those shapes, so it's easy for them to add those into their art. This is about 3 to 4 years old, and they're trying to represent actual things. And sometimes it's an awkward moment when a child draws something for you and they bring it up to you, and they're wanting to get your input on it, but you have absolutely no idea what it is. Have you ever had that happen before? Hi, Tina. So a good thing to do when you're approached with this is to say, well, describe it for me. Tell me what you've drawn. What's this? What's this a picture of? So you can redirect and ask questions of them, of their art, without making random guesses. Oh, is it a horse? Is it a duck? Because eventually they might get kind of mad that you can't tell what it is. So be sure and just ask those questions. Okay, schematic or pictorial is around 4 to 7 years old, a little bit older. And they like to represent actual forms, combine basic forms to make symbols, and they communicate through drawing. So when you look at these pictures, you can tell, for instance, the picture on the left, we have, it's either a boy or girl going down a slide. You can tell that there are rungs on the ladder, and the sun is out. Of course, almost every child loves to draw the sunshine in one way or another. So here's the sun, but this person's wearing a hat and gloves and pink, I don't know, boots or shoes. So we know that he's sliding down the slide, but it must be wintertime if we've got on mittens and a hat, right? So we can tell lots of things from that picture. And then on the right, we're in a cool vehicle. I don't know what make or model that is, but I like that light up front. We've got the sunshine represented this time in the corner, and that's how I drew my sunshine. Oh, DJ loves cars, yeah. And we've got here, we've got the classic cloud and the birds that sort of look like a rounded letter M. Most of you probably drew these yourself. You remember them. And then we've got a tree over here to the left with a really, really thick center. It almost looks more like a pine tree, but I'm not sure. Not a pine tree, but a palm tree, maybe in Florida or California. But then the top of it looks like a regular tree. And we've got a person in there. And, of course, the door on the car kind of looks like a house door. But you're getting the idea. We're getting lots of details at 4 to 7. Okay, realism starts at around 9, which is actually past our ECE point. Early childhood is considered anything from infant up to about age 8. So just beyond that, at age 9, we've got more details. They don't necessarily want to show their work as much as they used to. And do you guys have any idea why? Why is it at age 9 or 10 that maybe they're not showing work as often? What do you think? Give me some ideas here. And I'll talk about the art that's up, but you guys give me some ideas. Why do you think they don't want to talk about or show their work as much at 9? We've got a Halloween picture on the left. Somebody's saying hello. I'm really not sure what the word bubble is saying on the right. You can tell we've got costumes. We've got a bat up by the moon. And then on the right, you've got a cute little dog with things wrapped around the legs. So I'm guessing that that dog's hurt. Maybe that's a little cast. But it's very cute. Eyeballs, nose, ears, lots of detail, right? So has anybody come up with a why for me? Why do you think this age group doesn't show their work as much? Let me see if I've got, oh, I don't have anybody typing yet. Oh, there's Desiree, Lita. All right, tell me what you think, guys. They want everyone to like it. That's true. That's true. This is a big group. If you think about 9 years old, if you subtract 5 from that, a 9-year-old would be in about 4th grade. So we're talking about later grade school years. I'm going to see what Lita comes up with too. So they're definitely wanting to be liked at that stage, that's right. Some feel like it's not good enough. Yeah. Yeah. And let me see what Tina's got here. Tina, why do you think that would be so? Kind of think about what's going on with that age group. Tina, yeah, they might think someone will make fun of them. Maybe someone has said something about their drawing, so they're not wanting to show it as much, Lita. Yeah, yeah, you guys are coming up with good ideas here. Think about this age group, 9 years old, 4th grade. There's a lot of things going on in 4th grade up till 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade. Oh, that's okay. I'm glad you're back, Sarah. I didn't know it had kicked you off. First, 2nd, and 3rd grade. These are still kind of goofy years. Oh, they might be shy or embarrassed, Jasmine. That's true. That's true. And in 4th or 5th grade, we've got some hormones kicking in. Actually, you know, it's not unusual nowadays, even for puberty to begin in 4th and 5th grade. We have young girls as young as 2nd and 3rd grade starting their periods even. Very, very young. So you've got hormones that are going on. They're getting a little more self-conscious. They may be developing physically. Oh, maybe not as focused and don't try as much, maybe not as creative as they used to be too. Thinking about boys and girls and worried about what other people think. So it's a very big kind of self-conscious year, 9s and 10s and all the things that are changing. So 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade, they were really anxious to share anything that they've created. But we're getting older there, and the same thing happens in junior high. You see very few kids sharing their artwork in junior high, and then even few in high school. So we see it really taper off as kids worry about other kids maybe judging their work, or like you said, making fun of them, or they don't think it's good enough. And even the ones that are fantastic drawers in junior high and high school still tend to sort of keep that private, kind of close to the chest. So think about that, and think about what an amazing opportunity you have with them early on to get them drawing a lot, or painting, or making clay creations, or whatever art activity they're really drawn to. That these are the years when they'll really be into it, you know, and won't be worried so much about the outcome at the end. How to teach art. Provide materials suited for the developmental age. We had a assignment where you guys had to analyze some art supplies for a classroom. So we do want to provide with some good raw materials. Show children how to use the materials and tools. Oh, yeah, and some may not be able to because of bullies. That's true. They might be worried about getting bullied because of their artwork as well, Lita. Yeah. Provide a variety of drawing and coloring tools. Don't necessarily make a model every time. And, you know, I see this done a lot. The art teacher comes in the classroom and she brings a model of what they're going to create. which can be fun, you know, copying what the teacher has done. But it's also fun just to get those materials and to be able to create more freely. So we want free expression, encouraging the children to try using these materials in different ways. So maybe you have an art center that doesn't get too messy, but it's going to happen. Get excited about the things that they discover, and expect a mess, provide smocks and cover tables. Here's the thing in ECE, I see parents that will send their kids to daycare in these expensive, amazing clothes. And yes, they look incredibly cute, but then the teacher has to worry about them getting those dirty or stains. So it's best to save the good clothes for the weekend if you're worried about them getting stained, because it could happen, especially in art. Each child should feel that his art is taken seriously, it's understood. This isn't just silly scribbling to them, this is serious business. It sometimes seems funny, but remember the intention is serious. Don't judge or inhibit their spontaneous creation. We want to allow them to do that. How to respond to children's art. What does it represent? Tell me about it. How is it organized? You can use these words that maybe they're unfamiliar with as a teaching process. What's this picture about? Or this clay creation that you've made, or this thing in Play-Doh. Where did you get that idea? You know, use words that they're going to understand. And if you look at the art on the right, you're like, what in the world are those belly buttons? You know, that would be my guess, but you want the child to tell you instead. And it may make a lot of sense to them. Here's a cartoon that I like. I paint what I see. Remember that children are doing their art from their level, from their own frame point, which is lower and in a different way and with a different mind. So he's created just legs. Final thoughts on art. Always use free choice, because we want them to be able to develop independently. We don't want to tell them what to do every step of the way. Always display the children's art. You should have one wall at the beginning of the school year that is just almost blank. And maybe you've got a title for it. Maybe you've got an inspirational quote. Maybe it just says art wall. However you want to do it, there's tons of ideas on Pinterest. And just know that you want an area where you can display everyone's art, not just the best ones. I kind of remember from grade school that I would have teachers that would display the best pieces of art or the best story that they've come up with. So you want to celebrate everyone in that class. Everyone. And remember, it's a process, not the product, that is important. So the process of making the art and going through these discoveries and using these new skills and ideas is really what we want to focus on. Yeah, and give them a choice as to what to make. Exactly. Exactly. Here's a few examples of art activities. Now, if you have a pen or paper handy, it might be a great time to write down some of these because some of them could be used on your 25 activity cards. Making homemade Play-Doh. There are tons of recipes on the internet for making Play-Doh. It's fun. You could even make flavored. You can make edible Play-Doh. There's so many different ones out there. Making Goofy Gloop, GAC, or Oblique. And these are all fun too. Texture pictures with sandpaper or crayons. And was it somebody that's in class tonight that did the salt painting for their activity? I can't remember who that was, but I remember seeing the picture of it. So someone did the salt painting for their activity last week, and I thought that was really neat. Using a light table. We see a lot in Montessori type classroom. Tissue paper art, because why? Because it's cheap. And we're all into making art that's inexpensive. Doing crayon resist, where maybe you're scratching a portion of it off. Doing blow painting with straws. Using paint blots instead of regular brushes. Maybe use different utensils. More activities. Finger paint, again, tons of recipes on the internet. You can add that as an activity. Using shaving cream, adding a little dye to it, a little food dye to create colorful shaving cream. Or I've seen people use Cool Whip in that place, which is wonderful with toddlers because you don't have to worry about them putting it in their mouth. Good old-fashioned easel painting. Collage art, ripping apart pictures, maybe from old magazines, so you're recycling as you do. Salad spinner art is kind of a tie-dye activity. Crayon rubbing, colored bubbles, and the bubbles pop on the paper and leave a ring. Marble painting, which is where you use the marbles and roll them on a container through some various maybe tempera paints. And stamping, using different items found at home or buying paints, or in nature. You might be using a leaf or a rock or a shell, something that would leave a cool impression for art. Does that give you a few ideas there? Okay? And lastly, we're done. We're finished. Last live lecture of the class. Oh, Crayola shavings, they are. Those are fun too. And I like melting down the crayons to create new ones, the multicolored ones. Yeah. All right, do you guys have any questions? We're at the end of the final lecture. Cool? I hope you enjoyed it. Art is fun. Art is natural. And it's a great opportunity in early childhood education. No questions? All right. If you think of any questions, be sure and call me or email me, okay? Text me, Facebook me, whatever you need to do. Thank you.